Hello my friends! Today I am going to start cutting up my Boho Hippie ephemera book. I'm so excited to take the scissors to this. Not sure whether I'm going to be able to do it. But anyway, I'm going to do a journal spread in this journal that I made a little while ago. And yeah, I love the cover of this. It's got Gelli prints and I went around all the edges with gold pen and I just love it. But what I don't love at the moment is this edge. So I need to make a decision about how I'm going to cover the edge. And I'm not loving this green very much either, but I don't know, maybe I could dye it. So yeah, without that, look at those colours, so pretty. So I think I want this journal to be sort of vintage, boho, kind of relaxed, that sort of theme. So it's fairly wide open. My other art journal is a steampunk one, which is very much in that niche. So this can be for other projects. But anyway, it is time, guys, to take the scissors to my new book. Here we go. I am in my happy place today. I've got time to do some crafting. Hallelujah. So yeah, I'm going to show you here what I've got in this journal so far, which is frankly not very much. I've got one journal spread that I made with my antique shop ephemera book a little while ago. So yeah, my Boho Hippie ephemera cut and collage book awaits. It's pristine. I'm so happy and delighted with how it came out, and the colours are just really wonderful and juicy and lovely and bright and cheerful. So yeah, I am going to just look through here and see if I can find maybe one particular page that will work really well as an art journal spread. Now that one has got some really cool colours, and I'm in two minds at this point about whether they're going to stand out and be strong enough against my Gelli prints that you can see there. So I do need something quite bold because the gel prints are going to form the background of my art journal page. Oh, excuse me, my voice is really croaky today. Sorry about that. Don't know what's going on. There's a few bugs going around again. Hopefully I'm not about to get one of them. So yeah, what am I going to pick? You can see there are lots of patterns in this book as well. And this was actually the page that I really did have in mind. It's got loads of rich sort of raspberry colours and lots of pretty boho detail in like the clothing of the ladies in the picture. So, here we go with the scissors. Oh dear, the first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know. Anyway, oh sorry. Corny jokes again. You know me if you've watched me before. Yeah, terrible puns and stuff like that. My father, when he was alive, bless him, was famous for his very corny jokes. And I seem to have inherited them. Sometimes I don't even know I'm doing it. I just start coming out with cheesy songs and yeah, it's a kind of subconscious thing. But anyway, here we go with the scissors, look. And I'm so happy that I've sort of made each page in this journal go together, because that is going to make this job easier rather than me hunting through the whole book or through the whole of the internet and printables to find some colours that are going to go well together and the theme that works well and the images that work well. Because I just want it to coordinate, really. I do like coordinating things. And yeah, the circles in this book you can see are beautiful multicoloured mandalas. And I've made the colours of those mandalas really work with the illustrations that you can see. So it's time to cut up some patterns now. I've sped this up because honestly, guys, you would have been watching this for ages because it was quite a slow process in the end. So, gluing time. Here we go. Fastest gluing you ever saw, but I just wanted to get this down and be able to start to visualize how this page is going to look. It's got all these gorgeous sort of mauves and plum colours. And even though it's not an autumnal book, there is something a little bit magical and I wouldn't say Halloweeny exactly, but it's definitely got those sort of rich, ripe, harvesty sort of colours maybe with all the plummy reds and yeah, so I've got a crabapple tree in my garden and there's so many crab apples. I'm hoping to make some jam. I've borrowed the jam pan from my partner's sister. She's got this fantastic old copper pan and I have made jam before. So whether there is enough fruit on the crabapple tree, I'm not sure whether it's worth making crabapple jam, but what I do have is a fig tree. And I definitely want to make some fig jam. I found a YouTube video with the figs. So yeah, looking back at what I've made here, this background, it's really making me think of all those lovely, delicious, ripe, fruity colours. Even though the mauve doesn't really do that. Maybe it's a mauve like a misty September morning. Anyway. Just filling in the last few little pieces. And I really love that pattern that came out of the back of the book there. The patterns in the book are back to back, but you don't have to use the entire page. So you can use a little bit of one and a little bit of the other. And I just love the detail and the sort of jewelled look to that particular pattern. So I need to decide where these three main figures are going to go. And I couldn't resist going round with my vintage photo because there's something sort of rich and delicious about that colour, I think. And the girls have all got that kind of coloured hair as well that sort of is a bit vintage photo-y, so I think it works quite well. And with their sort of beads and their jewellery and that lady's sort of underskirt that you can see with the billowing colours, the billowing dress coming out behind. So yeah, happy with my choice. A little bit of inking around the edges. So delicious to do. I could just ink all day long. There must be something wrong with me. But anyway, there we go. Right, time to look for some more ephemera that is going to work well with this spread. What am I going to pick? Oh, I remember. I needed some more, what do you call it? Mandalas. There we are. Hope you can see those clearly. And yeah, I had the thought that maybe the mandalas could just go tucked in behind each of the girls to sort of give everything a bit of cohesion. There, something like that. What do you think? So I haven't stuck anything down yet. But I'm just looking for some other ephemera that's going to work well. And the suns and the moons. Oh my goodness, that sunshine is just the most delicious, gorgeous looking warm image. And the lovely cool colours of the moon. I think those are going to make this a real boho bonanza. Now, where am I going to put them? Much easier to work it out when you've fussy cutted them, of course, which you can see I've done. And yeah, that inking, I think it really brings everything together. Fun inking around all those tiny little pieces. It wasn't that hard to cut out, actually. I thought I'd set myself a bit of a challenge, but it worked out absolutely fine. There, so there's quite a lot of things going on already now in this spread. Let's see what else we can add. So having got my characters nailed down and added the sun and the moon, I'm now looking for some, like little finishing off pieces. So cacti, you can see there. And I always go with butterflies and moths, but this time I'm going to try and use something a little different. So the whole boho style is very big in interior design as well as fashion. So I included some really, well, in my opinion, really gorgeous cushions and mirrors and candles as well, and lanterns. So, I thought I would use those as my little sort of accent, secondary kind of accent illustrations in this particular piece. And I love that page. That was one of the very earliest pages I made when I decided to go down the boho route, bohemian route, as well as the hippie route. And I just found it a much easier style to work with. And so the whole book kind of shifted gear. And that's partly why it's taken me about a year and a half to actually finish the book off, because I was really struggling with the hippie vibe on its own, and it just needed a bit more of a Keeley thing about it to make it work, which for me ended up being all these pretty gorgeous boho-y kind of colours and themes, which I'm really familiar with, I guess. So, yeah, just cutting out the lantern there. It really helps, I think, having all these little tiny extra pieces that you can decorate with, and that the colours go so well together. I'm just in love with mauve and lavender colours, just that soft purpley colour. And when I was a little girl, my grandma had a pink bedroom. Everything was pink. It was so pretty. And I knew pink couldn't really be my colour because it was grandma's colour. So I fell in love with mauve at that age of about 4, maybe. And yeah, I still love that heathery mauve colour to this day. So, I don't know, what's your favourite colour? Sometimes purple and that stuff is just too strong for me. But that soft heathery mauve, you can see I've got purple shirt sleeves on as well under my jumper. Definitely got colder here in London. Oh, speaking of which, I said fig tree earlier, didn't I? Well, if you're in the UK, you'll know that the figs finished, if you're into such things. The figs finished a few weeks ago. The birds have eaten what was left of them and the wasps. But what I actually meant to say, because there's no figs left for me to make jam with, what I meant to say was quinces. So, yeah, quinces, they look a bit like apples, but they've got this lovely sort of furriness on the outside of the skin, which you can rub off. They're rock hard. You can't actually eat quinces straight off the tree, but you can make things with them. So it's actually quinces I'm going to make the jam with. I made something called membrillo last year, or it might have been, no, it was the year before, with the quinces, and it's more like sort of a hard jelly that you eat with cheese. So it's great with all those sort of hard cheeses like, I don't know, Wensleydale's an English cheese that works really, really well with it. So, and some of the Stiltons as well work really well with membrillo. But this year I'm going to try jam, because I do enjoy a bit of jam, and I can give some pots away to other people as well. So, yeah, gluing. Back to the gluing project. So I made a few decisions here, and just going in now with the Pritt stick. And it does, thankfully, have a little bit of forgiveness, a Pritt stick, so you can slide things slightly left, right, up and down if you're not happy with where you've put them. So I'm finding that if I put the mandalas first and then the girl, that works better, obviously, because the mandala's tucked behind, but just making that decision about where to put things. And I'm being brave. I'm putting her right in the crease of the book there, in the ditch or the gutter or whatever you call that. Put her in the gutter, poor girl. There we are. So, yeah, just to tie the whole thing together and make it look more like one piece of art rather than two. Because I love that. I love the fact you can have a book full of art all folded in half. Keeps everything safe. And yeah, I used to keep sketchbooks when I was at art college, and they would be a complete mess. So I'd be drawing people on the bus, believe it or not, on the way to college to make use of my time, sitting on the bus for half an hour every morning. So yeah, I used to sit and just learn to figure draw people. They couldn't see me. I was sort of sitting at the back, but yeah. And yeah, so my sketchbooks, I had various ones, and I think I still have some of them. A lot of the stuff was terrible, but it wasn't sort of like beautifully presented art like this, for example, because that wasn't something I'd come across back in 1986/1987 when I was at art college. But yeah, it was just exploring and having fun, you know, recording things I'd seen and learning to work with different media. But mostly I was drawing with like pencil and a bit of colouring pencil. I used to love working with gouache, which is sort of graphic designers' paint. Used that a lot. Not very good with watercolour. It wasn't really in fashion at that point. Everything was very sort of graphic design. And because I did the graphic design A-level, didn't really get to use acrylic paint very much. All the fine art people were using the acrylics. So anyway, there we go. I've stuck everything down. Is it finished? I think it nearly is. So inking around the edges with my vintage photo again. I'm not going to say how much I love it inking around the edges again. You've heard it. But yeah, so this journal has curved corners, as you can see, on each page. And so just tidying those corners up. And it's really satisfying trimming those edges off as well with all the bits. Love doing that. So yeah, I wish I could get rid of that green ribbon. I don't really want to cut it out because I like the fact that there is a ribbon, but it's very much stitched into the book itself, and I don't know, maybe I could dye it. Any suggestions? Maybe the archival ink. Perhaps I could trim a tiny bit off the end and archival ink it and see whether I can, you know, dye it into at least a more muted colour. There we go. How delicious and gorgeous is this page? Oh, I just love it. Of course, if you've got my book, you can make something like this as well. I'll put the link in the description as ever. And let me know what you think of my art journal spread. I just love it. I can't stop looking at it. And yeah, I think there's going to be plenty more from that book coming from Keely O'Brien. Anyway, I'll see you again soon, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really, really helps me. And yes, I love you all. See you next time. Bye.